Well, hello everybody out there. Hello America. Hello Western world again. I am here to make the Navy boot camp video as promised. I've noticed that there are a lot of veterans out there doing their videos and their dissertations for what their experience was like. And there's a lot of boot camp videos out there. A lot of them are pretty soft on facts and details, and obviously, you can go watch all of the official videos. You can go watch all the official Navy videos from NKO or whoever or whatever else have you. Okay. But one of the things that they're going to give you in the delayed entry program, okay, is they're going to give you this thing right here. All right, you're going to get this. And it's going to be a lot of the real meat and potatoes of most of your career. Exactly how you're supposed to behave, exactly what you're supposed to do. And I would recommend a long delayed entry program time for anybody. The longer the better, because you never really can be too prepared. Back in the day, going back a long time ago, we all used to know that terms of enlistment would only last like 2 years. Boot camp would be a little while. Maybe you'd get some OJT, crank out the work you had to do for your country. Then before you knew it, after 2 years, you were home if you didn't die. 2 years is plenty of time to lose your life. So again, I got something like this going back some while ago. Some of you out there who may see this and go, "Oh my God, it's still in good condition." Some of you may have ones like this that are even better condition. Well, I doubt that. This thing's like pristine. But they'll give you lots of stuff like this, and it's really good stuff. Let's have a little leaf through. Yeah, basically it'll say, welcome aboard, all that kind of stuff. You'll hear that a lot. It'll tell you about the delayed entry program, how this is going to affect your family, your future decision making, and then it gives you a warning order right after that, saying the information that you provide and or acknowledge receipt of is considered a statement of fact to the best of your knowledge. You're going to hear that a lot in the military or the Navy, especially, to the best of your knowledge. Kind of like, yeah. So, it warns you about your age, education, your medical history, prior military service, drug use, police civil involvement, dependence, knowing and willingly making false statements, because apparently there's a difference. And I'll go ahead and just read you your CMJ article about fraudulent enlistment, appointment, or separations. First page, guys. And a lot of people really wouldn't believe this, but believe it or not, your level of education is huge. If you pretend to be less educated than what you really are, if you try to hide your level of education or falsify your level of education, claiming that basically that you're more competent or capable or well-versed than what you really are, yeah, they'll penalize you for that, like anything else. And your dependents, prior military service, let's say you're trying to get back in, maybe you got out on, not some okay settings and scenarios, and you're trying to get back in to get a better term of discharge, well, they're going to find out about that too. We'll go into that. And then, gives you a little bit of information on what you can expect to tell your spouse or your family. It tells you what to expect for graduation. Little photo right there, graduation. Okay. Oh, God. So let's talk about the Navy core values. Honor, courage, and commitment. There's going to be some big words for all of you going to boot camp and for you guys during the rest of the fleet, should you make it. And there are real, serious definitions here and scenarios of what examples of honor, courage, and commitment really is. And I will not kill you guys with this stuff because, man. All right, let's start talking about your delayed entry program responsibilities. We having light color problems here? Stuff happening? Oh no, okay, sorry. So let's talk about the mission of the Navy, your delayed entry responsibilities, your 11 general orders of the century. I'm not going to go into all that. The Sailor's Creed, better get used to that. You better memorize your Sailor's Creed and your general orders before you go to boot camp, or it's just going to be a bad time. Your responsibility to your recruiter. All right, you two are supposed to have a professional and I forget how they used to phrase it when you're in the military. It's something to the effect of unduly familiar relationship. You're not supposed to be doing anything that's not on the level with your recruiter. That includes gambling, getting hammered, whatever else have you. And then again, lots of nice pretty pictures of people smiling. Woo, woo. But I don't know what they have coming to them yet. Okay. Oh, the RTC Maxim, Recruit Training Command, the RTC Maxim. I will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those among us who do. The RTC Chain of Command. They kill you with this. The RTC Chain of Command is something that you're going to have to memorize as soon as you get there, and it's basically more than anybody could remember. I don't care how healthy your brain is, how healthy and young you are. There's got to be 20 appointments here I'm looking at. You got to remember 20 titles and who those individuals actually are. And they're going to drill you on that on the spot in boot camp, like many other things. Alright, then the manual starts to tell you about basically what you can expect to go through once you get in there. And I'll just go ahead and tell you about that right now, because it's kind of jogging the memory. Alright, I will try not to digress too much, jump into the future or the past, and we'll just cover boot camp. So, when you first show up, hopefully you show up right around the middle of P-Days, processing days. Your recruiter will have dropped you off at the airport. You will spend one night in a hotel room where you'll get some good meals. It'll be right next to the airport. I don't believe you're allowed to consume any alcohol the night before boot camp. You are supposed to be in your rack and in your berthing, your hotel room by 2200, 10 o'clock. For all you civilians out there, non-veterans. And then you're going to wake up first thing in the morning. You and a bunch of other recruits from all other branches are all going to jump on a bus, I want to say. You're going to jump on a bus. And then from there, you are going to you're going to be hopping on the airplane, I want to say, or you might be going through some kind of MEPS thing one last time, but either way, you're going to spend the night in a hotel, and then from there, you are going to be getting on that plane. Alright, now some of you who live really close to Great Lakes, Illinois, or some of you who live really close to your boot camps of respected branches, you're not going to get on a plane for anything. You're just going to get on a bus, and they're going to take you right over to boot camp. As a matter of fact, I had somebody who was a rack mate of mine in boot camp, and he lived right down the street from Great Mistakes. I imagine if you live close enough, you can probably just arrive at the gates, and they'll just accept you or something. So boot camp is in Great Lakes, Illinois, for a reason. That is because back in the day, it was the main central kind of traveling hub for the country. Everybody who had any kind of serious business or traveling kind of went through Chicago, and that's just how it worked. So it was a good place to have everybody kind of get together for their boot camp scenario, for their boot camp training, for their conditioning. So you're going to get there. You're going to get off the plane. You're going to be greeted by a well, let me backtrack a little bit. You're going to be given a chit, a piece of paper that basically says, okay, we will vouch for your chow during your flight, in the airport, all that stuff. Trust me, all of these airport kiosks and establishments are going to take this little paper chit. They're going to know exactly what it is. And it's for a pretty decent amount. It's not like $40, something like that. It's really basically just for like one meal in between, something like that. There might be a layover. But overall, once you get that chow in you, they're going to take you to boot camp. And they're going to drop you off once you get to that airport at O'Hare. Not really a illustrious or bright and shiny kind of place. I think Georgia's International Airport is more bright and shiny. You're going to get off the plane there. You're going to finally find where it is you're supposed to be going. God bless you. I really hope that you're there during wintertime, because, man, that is way better than summer from what I'm told from all the people that are there during summertime. Boot camp's not supposed to be comfortable, and that heat, it's going to get to you. So you're going to get off the airplane. You're going to meet out where you're supposed to, and basically an E3 or below is going to meet up with you. You're not going to understand who the heck he is, because he doesn't look like your recruiter, and he doesn't look like any chief that you've ever seen. And you're supposed to address this person as Seaman. Okay? You're supposed to address him as Seaman, not petty officer, not AD1, nothing like that. You're supposed to call him Seaman. Not seaman recruit either, even though he may legitimately be a seaman recruit or a seaman apprentice. You're just going to call him Seaman, and he's going to be having a tan blouse with a white undershirt, like a petty officer, with black pants. And he's just going to be a low-level cog, low-level gear. And he's going to get a hold of you guys. He's going to basically do some of the heavy lifting for the petty officers, for the actual RDCs. And he's going to tell you, listen, if you got any cigarettes on, you toss them out now. You got anything kind of contraband, whatever, toss it out now. And he's going to tell you, listen, from now on, if you see anybody who looks like me, who has a collar device of a crow with some chevrons, 3 chevrons, that is a petty officer. All right, he's going to have the silver collar device with a khaki shirt and the black pants. That's a petty officer. If you see anybody else other than that in a fully khaki uniform, that's going to be a chief or an officer. And the only way you're going to know is until you get close enough to see the collar device. If you try and guess from a distance, it's not going to be good. The United States Marine Corps doesn't mind if you call their officers sir, and they're super high up, senior enlisted sir too. It doesn't matter, and I don't see why it should. But in the United States Navy, you had better call a senior enlisted sailor by their appropriate title, by chief, senior chief, or master chief in boot camp, or it will be, to quote EM1, it will be that ass, recruit. It's going to be that ass. Oh, you're going to get it in. You're going to get it in, recruit. It's going to be that ass. You're going to get it in. So, as EM1 would say, you better know the difference in collar devices. You better know the difference in collar devices. And right here, you see this guy wearing the recruit cover, and he has kind of a golden anchor-looking kind of device. You can kind of see it, maybe, maybe not. Alright, that's the recruit division leader. That's what's known as RPOC. RPOC is going to be hand-selected. He's going to be chosen before you ever even get there. Your recruit division commanders are going to have all your intel before you ever show up. And they're going to mostly have the senior hierarchy of the division chosen before you ever have a chance to volunteer yourself. And there's going to be a lot of other collar devices as well that are going to trickle down from RPOC. known as AROC, Master at Arms, the religious petty officer. I mean, a lot of paper-thin positions. Okay, so there's going to be all that. There's going to be the recruit chief petty officer, and he's going to get what's known as a cutlass or a saber, and he's basically going to be somebody who was he's going to be somebody who was in charge of the delayed entry program in the area that they were at, and or they're going to be somebody who went through JORTC. They're going to be a JORTC person who's knows everything about marching, everything about formations, everything. Yeah. Things are very circumstantial in the military. Things are very circumstantial in the military. What you may have done, and you'll get in trouble for, and you will. Other people will do the same thing. Be a slap on the wrist, and you'll see it. So this little, book, this little piece of propaganda is going to go on to tell you about parade rest, at ease, fallout, uncover, facings, hand salute. This is a bunch of stuff you better know before you get to boot camp. All right. And a lot of the stuff you're going to learn in boot camp is really basic stuff. Things like terms, phonetic military alphabet, the time. You're also going to learn the difference in ships and how to be able to look at them and tell the difference between a missile cruiser, a frigate, and an amphib and an aircraft carrier. And, submarines, all that stuff. Submarines are super hush-hush. You're not going to really talk about that too much or know too much about that until you get sent someplace for a submariner A school, if that happens to be your rate. And if it does, God bless you. And in the Navy, when you get to boot camp, you're going to start hearing some interesting terms. And I think one of my favorites is Gedunk. Gedunk and probably scuttlebutt. Gedunk is basically the place where you get all of your fast food, your hey there, Chief. It's where you get all of your your little snack crack, little Snicker snacks, where you're supposed to basically live on that stuff while the chow hall's closed or whatever else have you. So Gedunk is basically like junk food. It used to basically be bubble gum back in the day, but now Gedunk is basically junk food. And the Gedunk is the location. The Gedunk is also the location in every military barracks. Well, the Navy barracks, every military barracks, they just call it that. In the Navy barracks, they have a Gedunk, and you go in there, and it's full of all kinds of vending machines. If you're lucky, they got some sandwiches in there, some burritos or something when you're on watch or whatever. And you can get some actual real food versus, a Snickers or God knows what. So that's the Gedunk. And Scuttlebutt. Scuttlebutt is a place to get a drink of fresh water, or, as you may have heard before, Scuttlebutt is what's going on in the down low. The word underneath the official statement, the Scuttlebutt. And then we also have what's known as the Airman Underground, or, well, I guess if you're a surface, the Seaman Underground, or if you're a Naval Corpsman, you have the Corpsman Underground. I'll explain the differences later. But basically, the Airman Underground is someplace where it's the word on the down low. It's the scuttlebutt. All right. So again, in boot camp, you're going to learn all about recognizing collar devices and shoulder boards and sleeve device, I guess, cover device. You're going to learn all about that stuff. And I'll give you a basic little photo. It's all of this stuff. You're going to learn all that too. And it's really not that hard. We'll get into standing inspection here in a little later. And again, you're going to learn about your mine warfare ships, your combat logistic types, your support type ships, mobile logistics types, amphibious warfare, patrol, combatant. You're going to learn all about fixed-wing aircraft and electronic warfare aircraft and fighter aircraft, including multi-purpose and multi-role. And there is so much. There is so much to learn. Okay, and here's one of the things that you're going to remember the most from boot camp is being in the head. Being in the head early first thing in the morning shaving. I'm telling you, if you're going to have any memories from boot camp at all, it's going to be you and your rack mate sharing a sink. Trying to shave first thing in the morning. We'll get into that. Alright, past that. What to expect to bring to boot camp and what not to bring to boot camp. You know, bring like $50. Maybe an extra layer, a sweater or jacket you don't care too much about, your driver's license, any prescription pills that you've been cleared to have that you can actually use and need, and that the military clears you for. You can actually be medicated and actually still be in the military. It's females. Again, don't bring much. Bring a couple little sanitary items. There's a huge section here of what you girls are not supposed to bring that will get sent home. And again, I don't know why. Well, maybe I do, but the military for some reason really dehumanizes people. It doesn't, identify you as male and female, or it doesn't identify you as male and woman, it identifies you as male and female. So they just attach all of these things to the female part of humanity, and they're just like, no commercial sleep aids, motion sickness medications, sex-related materials like diaphragms and condoms. When you first get to boot camp, as soon as you get there, they are going to usher you off the bus. Relatively quickness, no real rush. They're going to get you inside, and then they're going to start yelling at you in this main hall, basically being like, take off your wristwatch, your wedding ring, whatever, do exactly what I tell you, put it in this envelope, and from there, they're going to tell you who to address how and when and how and why. Basically don't talk unless you're being spoken to. Don't talk to anybody for anything ever. And then as soon as you get in there and as soon as they separate you from those couple of little things, they are going to immediately, I want to say, send you into a room full of telephones with a calling card that I guess allegedly you're told to bring with you. I guess I'm going to tell you now, bring a calling card with you, I guess. Your recruiter will get a lot more specific with that with you. And you're going to make your phone call home to whoever or whatever, spouse, family, whatever. And they're basically going to get your okay that you're alive and you made it there in one piece. After that, it's immediately to your analysis. And you girls, you pass fluids so easily, it's not a problem. A lot of men, you might get stage fright. And a lot of guys have a big problem peeing on command. Right? Not unnatural. Some of us kind of have a conscious reception of the ability to hold it a little bit better, or the inability to let go and relax. Basically, we call it stage fright in the military. Very normal. You'll get past it. You'll get over it. Never heard any girls having that problem. Just immediate, we're good. Let's move on. So if you don't pee while they're yelling at you, behind you, screaming at you, telling you to fill that cup already, if you can't do it, don't worry about it. It's just an act. They're going to feed you water until you can't take it anymore, and then have you walk in circles around some huge room until nature will take its course, and you will be more than filled with the desire to pass fluid. And by the time that time comes around, they'll be behind you yelling at you again, and you'll probably have a hard time passing fluid. But if they really notice that you're having a problem, they will give you a reprieve, and they'll kind of pretend to do something else while you're standing there along with many other people who can't go. And they'll just kind of, like, not pay attention to you for a second, so you can kind of relax and actually go. And man, you're going to go and go and go after that. And then, for some reason, it's talking about government liability for personal injuries to future sailors. Something about when you're in the delayed entry program. It's explained in the hold harmless agreement and release from liability form, or whatever that's about. Maybe we'll try to come back to that. All right. And then after you get done doing the urinalysis, you are going to be kept awake for 48 hours. So everybody's sleep pattern is synonymous, congruent, and synchronous. You're going to be kept awake for 48 hours, and all they're going to do is just yell at you, tell you, don't rub your eyes, don't rub your face, don't touch your face, don't talk to anybody. You're just going to sit in these classroom chairs, these desks, with a little scratch book of paper they're going to give you, and a little lottery pencil. And you're just going to write your general orders, and you're just going to start going through your programming, and you're just going to start taking on your conditioning from right there. And then that's when it really all starts. And then after that 48 hours, they're going to run you around and say, oh, hey, if you have a single scar on your body of any way, shape, form, or nature, you better show it to me right now, because we need to see this. This is important. They want to see all your tattoos, your physical markings, whatever else have you. They want to see it all. And it's hard to remember it all. It really is. It's hard to remember it all. I mean, you were awake for 48 hours, so it kind of wears on your consciousness. So yeah, after that 48-hour period, finally, you are going to get the opportunity to sleep. You're going to get the opportunity to sleep, finally. And that'll be the most sleep you'll get during boot camp. They'll let you sleep for about 8, 9, 10 hours. And from right then, as soon as you get there, they're going to make up the watch bill right then and there. You are going to stand a watch as soon as you get there. It doesn't matter if you've been awake for the 48 hours and you're slated to sleep for 4 hours and then wake up and start your watch schedule. Doesn't matter, okay? Doesn't matter what it does to your chromosomes. Doesn't matter what it does to your hormones, your genes. Doesn't matter what it does to your heart, your brain, or your eyes. If you're awake for 48 hours, then you got to go to sleep for 4 hours, then bounce back up and strap on a fucking plastic pistol. Yeah, you're going to be in a certain kind of way. So that's what happens as soon as you get there. Hopefully you're young. Hopefully you're like 18 or 19, and 17 like some people. And yeah, you are going to go to sleep for the very first time ever after 48 hours. And what's going to happen just before you go to sleep for that first time for 48 hours is they're going to bring you in through this front door right here. This front door they're going to bring you in. All right, and yay, P-Days. All right, and then that's some of the barracks. And then over here, garment bag issue, ditty bag issue, some of that first horrible PT gear that you're going to have to don that will remember your smell forever. Alright, ditty bag issue. Alright, you're going to be in a room that looks just like that. It is that room. They're going to tell you to strip. They're going to tell you to strip down to nothing. All right, well, someone stands on top of a table, and they're going to give you a lock for your A and B locker. They're going to give you all your clothes. They're going to do all that nonsense. So you're finally going to go to your little in-between holding barracks that you're going to be going to before you go to your real barracks during P-Days. You're going to stash all your stuff in your rack, then you're finally going to go to sleep. All right, that's what you can expect when you first get there. Me, unfortunately, when I woke up from my first 48 hours of being awake nonstop, I was deathly sick. It was one of the worst times I'd ever been sick in my life. Maybe even the worst time one of the worst times I'd ever been sick in my life. I was dog sick as soon as I woke up. Matter of fact, I only slept about 4 or 5 hours. I woke up in the middle of the night with a horrible fever. Horrible fever. There was nothing that anybody could do for me that was on watch. It was just drink water and deal with your fever. And it was bad. It was real bad. I woke up feeling like I was sleeping on a block of ice. But the next day, we went to the Red Rover, and that story will expand. And then, yay! The first time I get to go to sleep. Alright. So you're going to go to sleep, you're going to wake up the next day, and they're going to take you over to the Red Rover. They're going to take you over to the Red Rover, you're going to start going through all your medical nonsense, and they're going to basically clear you to make sure that you're healthy enough to get beat again. And this is some of what you can expect at the Red Rover. Alright. You're going to do all of your paperwork. Alright, all of your paperwork. You're not going to be allowed to talk to anybody. You're going to get your exams. You're going to get all your shots. You're going to get all your shots. And that guy's taking it like a pro. Taking it like a pro. That shit hurt my shoulder, though, although however, unfortunately. And notice you're still in those Navy sweats. Alright. And you're going to go through, and you're going to get all your shots at the Red Rover. Then dental's going to go on, and that is just the initial screening for dental. You're just going to, notice how you have that book there in your hand? All those books? Yeah, the recruit manual. You're going to get one of those. Just wait for that. You're going to live out of that thing. And then you're going to get your initial dental exam where they're going to tell you, hey, listen, you got some cavities, or you don't have some cavities. We'll work with you later. Then from there, you're going to pretty much, finish out the rest of P-Days. You are going to finally start going through your real training. You're going to finally start going through some of your real training. Alright. And in some of your real training, well, I have 2 photos of discrepancy here. That's interesting. I wonder when they made that change and revisal to the combat swimming pool. So, yeah, once your real training starts, it's not going to be until after you go and get your digital blue uniform sized for you, and you are going to go get all of your uniform items issued to you, basically. A lot of this stuff. Okay, you're going to see a lot of this stuff. Alright. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, when you're getting sized for this right here, alright, you're going to get sized up for all those blue uniforms, and you're going to get sized up for all the whites and all the dress blues and everything else. Then after you get all that issued, it's going to take forever for them just to get your name tapes on them. Alright, it's going to take like a week or two. That's really what P-Days is about, I guess. And then finally, they're going to get all those uniforms to you. They're going to get all those uniforms to you. Then your training is going to begin. Then your real training is going to begin. And what the training cycle consists of, I can't remember exactly. But I want to say that some of the earliest stuff is basically just going to be classroom stuff. You are going to be sat in a classroom, and you're going to have to basically stay awake. They're going to PT the hell out of you. And then they're going to sit you in one of these classrooms, okay, where you're going to have to stay awake on some old-ass computers, basically learning a lot of your loading knowledge from NKO. You're going to get a lot of your loading knowledge from NKO. And after that, you're going to start getting into real stuff. You're going to start getting into things like the SAM-T trainer. The SAM-T trainer. Let me see if I can find some of that. And SAM-T is basically an electronic form of pre-qualifications for weapons, basically. And you're going to learn how to qualify it with laser-guided, air pneumatically actuated weapons. And it's going to simulate about 1/3 of the kick of a real firearm. Alright. And then once you go through all the SAM-T training, you are finally going to get to have live fire. You're going to get to have live fire. And that lasts maybe 2 or 3 days. And the SAM-T training lasts about 2 days, give or take, 1 or 2 days. And I am having some trouble trying to find some of these SAM-T photos. Some of these training photos. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Alright, SAM-T. There we go. Simulated fire. Alright, notice the all the hoses there in the background. Alright, all the hoses. It's just air-actuated weapons that have been taken down and made into a Hollywood fake kind of status. Alright, you'll do a lot of learning on the gun range with the SAM-T. Then we'll move on to live fire. Alright, notice the guy standing behind you wearing the bulletproof vest? If you mess up during live fire, if you decide to be a clown, be negligent, not think about what you're doing, this guy's going to tackle you to the ground and put you in an armbar or God knows whatever else. And basically what the deal is, it's called breaking blue. Do not break blue. Do not point your firearm in a direction that is not downrange. Okay, don't do it. Basically, if you have said firearm and you're pointing it downrange, don't cock the weapon to the side to drop the magazine out. Alright? Cock your body to the side if you have to get that next magazine in there and drop the other one out. If you mess up in any kind of way and you start pointing that barrel anywhere in downrange, you're going to be on the ground. Okay, I can guarantee you that right now. You're going to be on the ground. Alright. And finally, after you get through all the live fire, you're going to start approaching the midway course of boot camp. And at the midway course, I think, if I remember correctly, I could have this backwards, you finally get into Marlin Spike, which was like kind of like the halfway point of boot camp, Marlin Spike training. And I'm telling you, it's going to be the best thing ever. It's going to be the best thing ever. Expect to have lots of camaraderie with your division and expect to have lots of fun and bonding and stuff like that, because you're going to do a lot of line handling. You're going to be in a competition against your brother or sister division, depending on how masculine or feminine they are. Please, people, let's have jokes. Let's have jokes, okay? Military people have thick skin. So, we have the Seaman Line Handling Marlin Spike Training. USS Marlin Spike. Alright. Whoa. Alright. Here we go. USS Marlin Spike. Alright. Kind of hard to see around the camera here. And you're going to have a lot of fun on this simulated ship. You're going to have a lot of fun on that simulated ship. And it's going to kind of be the halfway point. You're going to learn a lot of cool things. You're going to have a lot of fun. Points for Marlin Spike training? Don't step over the line. Don't step over the line. You're never supposed to step over the line under any condition, no matter what. Communicate. Communicate as much as possible. Don't take anything too personal. Everybody nowadays is such a social justice warrior and gets so butthurt over every single little joke, it's not even funny. And That's why the right will win, because the left doesn't have culture. They can't have jokes. And humanity needs jokes. And, well, the left is just a mental disorder, but anyways. So, here's some more photos of Marlin Spike training. More photos. Alright. Yes, you will have to wear that stupid recruit cover. Yes, you will. Alright. Unless you go in the wintertime. You won't have to wear that stupid cover. You'll wear another stupid cover. And check out Homeboy right here. He's the guy who's mostly in charge of the evolution, who's just another recruit like you, but he's having a good time. Boot camp is a good time. Okay? Like life, it's what you make it. Man, look at the length of some of that line and the thickness of the gauge. Jesus. And in between all of that fun, let's take a little, halfway point here. I mean, seeing how, after all, we made it a half point here at the Marlin Spike training. There's going to be lots of PT. There's going to be lots and lots and lots of PT all up in between. Every evolution, your SAM-T training, your actual live fire, and your Marlin Spike. Now, this is what you can expect. You can expect Freedom Hall. All right. Whoa. Can't see a thing. Okay. I don't even know what I'm doing. All right. Freedom Hall. It's huge. If you can't tell, God, I'm so jacked up right now in reverse. If you can't tell, it's kind of submerged underground a little bit. It's kind of halfway underground, and it's like 3 stories. The place is huge. It's like an aircraft hangar. It's ginormous. And as you see these people up here PTing this division, this is on the top deck. All right, there's 2 floors below to exercise in this place, and you can even see the whole magnitude of it from this photo. All right, and there's going to be lots of PT. All right, notice the high socks. Notice the fashionably high socks. Your recruit division commanders are going to love making you dress fashionably, and keeping the shoelaces out, of course. Don't tuck them in. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, absolutely. Notice. Okay. RDC, Recruit Division Commander, ankle socks. Recruits, 80s socks. Alright. It is personal. And it is fun. Oh, check out this freaking overpaid stuff. Anyways. Sue me. So, moving right along. Again, lots of PT all up in between everything. Lots of PT all up in between everything. They're going to have you doing crazy evolutions, lots of fun. No O course, however, unfortunately, no O course. That would have been nice. Back in the day, going back to like about a decade ago, there used to be an O course, but there is not now. They will make you go through a series of plyometrics exercises and calisthenics, basically in the way, shape, and form of small little things like you do push-ups, sit-ups, jump rope, and running through like tires on the ground and all that kind of stuff. They got that set up for you that you're going to do a lot of. Do this many pull-ups while you're at this station, do this many push-ups while you're here. And, muscle confusion is what I meant to say. Yeah, they're going to make you do a lot of muscle confusion exercises. So, you're going to be good. They're going to make sure, you stay stimulated. At least on the most basic levels. Obviously what works for some people don't work for everybody when it comes to real, breaking plateaus. And then, of course, church. All right? Religious worship. Okay? You're going to have the opportunity to get out every Sunday mostly and go still have some humanity. All right, you're going to be allowed to go out and worship whoever you want, with some exceptions. And I would recommend it. I would totally recommend it. You get out in small elements and units out of the division, not being monitored by an RDC, by RPOC, by AROC, by Master... Well, maybe you might have Master at Arms or AROC or RPOC with you. And maybe they'll throw you under the bus if you mess up the traffic pattern between the barracks and the place of worship, the religious hall. I'll just get into this now. While you're in boot camp, there's something known as FQA, something known as Fleet Quality Assurance, and that is when they all decide that they're going to make a third-party organization walk around boot camp that's basically just QA, it's basically just quality assurance, and they're going to walk around and make sure that all of the recruits are basically being trained to top-tier status, doing what they're supposed to, and most importantly, that they're not jacked up walking up and down the P-ways, the pathways, of Great Lakes RTC, Recruit Training Command. So many pages of PT here. And then QA is going to, try and roast you or not roast you, lack thereof, if you're walking around jacked up, out of uniform. Maybe they just might stop you and run your pockets to see if you have something known as gear drift. Maybe you have a roll of chapstick in your pocket that you're not supposed to because it's cold outside and you want to have it with you, but it's supposed to be back in your barracks, in your A and B drawer. Yeah, okay, that's gear drift. Your whole division will get screwed for that, and you will be held responsible, and there will be a beating for that. Believe you me, there will be a beating. My division was almost flawless. If it wasn't for a hit that we got in the head because we shared it with Brother Div, we would have been a Hall of Fame division. We would have been a Hall of Fame division, and we already were a Battle E, and you can quote me on that. A lot of what you're going to hear from me, ladies and gentlemen, you can quote me on. Okay, so, again, there's going to be lots of divisional PT as a whole and stuff like that, but some of you are going to kind of get jacked up a little bit, and you're not going to get divisional PT. You are going to end up becoming part of ship staff. They're going to demand that so many people become a part of ship staff. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to stand a watch down on the quarterdeck. Alright? And you're going to be a roving watch. You're going to do all this stuff, It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I loved it. I loved being ship staff. Okay, so this is what the front of one of the barracks looks like in the Navy. All official locations are treated as a ship. They're treated as a commissioned vessel. And this is the USS Constitution, according to them. Doesn't go anywhere. Well, anyways. And then that right there is where you'll be doing a lot of your watch standing, okay, on ship staff. Alright, notice you got your whole chain of command back here. You got your American flag, got the Navy flag, and you got your usurper-in-chief. Who's that? Barack Obama. I never liked looking at this guy staring at me with his snake smile. Alright. And here's just another view of the compartment. Yes, that is an old school television. Up in the corner. Whoa. Up over here. That's an old school television. Alright. And that wax on the divisional compartment floor will most likely be eaten away before the end not from boot scuffs and boot marks, but instead from stomach acid. You'll see. Okay, moving right along. Okay, so after your Santee, after your live fire, after your Marlin spike, you are finally going to get into, I want to say, you're going to get into your firefighting. You're going to get into your firefighting, and the firefighting lasts a week? Oh no, wait, I'm wrong. Excuse me, I'm wrong. The firefighting is the next real part of your training that really matters, but what happens before then is the part that nobody likes. Okay? Maybe 1 in 15 or 20 or less. Okay? And that is that's your water survival training. And in boot camp, it's not really a big deal. It's really not. They're not going to ask a whole lot of you. This I'll go into detail because they don't. And it's sadistic. And this just sums it up right here. This will be your water survival training, okay? Look at all of these faces. Look at these faces. None of them are smiling. None of them are smiling because water is a big deal for everybody. Alright? And there's the tower they push you off of. Notice it's about twice the height of an average person, so it's got to be 12, 15 feet, as they say. And if you're smart, you'll jump. If you're unlucky, they'll push you. It's not a big deal. Alright? And as soon as you get pushed, this is it. This is the whole secret, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as you get pushed, know a good swim stroke. Alright? Do your backstroke or do your breaststroke, do your side stroke, do whatever stroke you know. And you just have to go to the other end of the pool. That's it. You just got to swim to the other end of the pool, and that's it. That's the meat and potatoes of your water survival training. After that, they're going to separate a bunch of you, and this is where it starts to become slightly more complex, but it's really not that hard a deal. A lot of people have a bigger deal jumping off that tower, or falling, or getting pushed off that tower than anything. But what really happens is just after that, they start the water treading. Okay, and guys and girls out there, listen. Treading the water is the biggest part about swimming. If you're swimming, you're just moving forward, you're moving backwards, you're moving sideways, you're moving, you're traveling, you have a stroke going. Okay, you're kind of moving along in transition. When you have to tread water, it's a complex motion of kind of kicking and kipping your legs underneath you in a very special motion, and then doing a hand motion, not that too unlike of a fish in an aquarium that you'll see through glass, doing this wave-like pattern with their hands. Okay, you have to use your hands and your feet in a combined motion while you're kind of hunched over, squatted over, doing this thing that will keep you afloat. Treading water is a big deal. But they don't tell anybody how to do it in boot camp. They don't tell anybody in the military period how to tread water at all. Alright? That's one of those make or break moments where, well, either you do it or you don't. Okay? And if you're really bad, they'll remediate you. They're not going to have anybody really nice, kind of tell you how to do it. They're going to tell you, they're going to get somebody who can just not yell at you to tell you how to do it. And, man, I would look up something on YouTube, or maybe I'll make up another episode or something about treading water, but treading water is a big deal. They're going to make you tread water for something like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that, something trivial. And it's going to get your heart rate up. And then once they get your heart rate up, they're going to tell you to go into a face-down float. Okay? Go straight face down into the water, just boop! And fight your burning desire for oxygen after treading water for all that time. That is the real exercise here, is learning to stifle that desire for oxygen burning in your lungs and heart. That's the real evolution there, is to get your heart rate up, make sure you know how to tread water, and then go face down into the drink and slow your heart rate and slow your demand of oxygen. And then after you go into that face-down float, you learn to just float face down after that exasperating experience that, basically simulates you escaping a sinking ship or a crashed down aircraft in the water or whatever have you. Anyways. So after that happens, they teach you to float face down. And the reason why you want to float face down is to guard your face from the elements, guard your face from the sun. And most helmets, most deck gear, most cranials, they call them, have a big shiny thing on the back of it, so that way an aircraft can spot you from above. So treading the water, big deal. All right. And if you have denser bone mass than some people, or if you have lighter bone mass than some people, expect that to influence how difficult it will be for you to tread water and how far you will go during your swim strokes. Bone density and overall muscular and or fat composition of the body will matter greatly. Will matter greatly. For all you ladies out there that are worried about, taking it off in front of 80 people, and men, that's going to wash away in the shower in the head, okay? But when it comes to the swim evolution, don't worry, ladies, if you're a little self-conscious. You get to wear a one-piece and you wear a pair of swimming shorts, so you feel very dignified, as you should. Once you get done learning how to do the treading of water, you are then going to learn how to use coveralls as a flotation device, otherwise known as your sea jammies. Man, this lady right here can talk longer than I can. I was in parade rest, waiting for her to finish talking for like 45 minutes. Whatever it was that she had to say that was so poignant, okay, it was completely drowned out by the pain in my shoulders, okay, by the lack of circulation from the muscle being hands behind your back at parade rest for 45 minutes easy. So yeah, all right, so you're going to learn how to use a pair of coveralls to be a flotation device, okay, to be a flotation device. Basically you just clap water underneath it and you figure it out. It inflates with water, you learn. Alright, and here's some of the photos of people learning how to tread water and inflate their stuff. Here's the inflation photos over here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, inflation photos. Alright, everyone trying to fill up their sea jammies with air. Alright, and then here's one of the treading water photos. Okay, yeah, there we go. There's one of the treading water photos. You got like one lady in the middle who's like a petty officer or chief, spending all day in the pool, trying to teach people how to tread water. Okay? Takes some people a long time to tread water properly and go to that face down float. People are just terrified of water, and with all right. We'll talk about Pensacola and its combat swimming pool later. This is just boot camp. And again, guys and gals out there, I hope that you are enjoying this content. I have not seen anybody be this thorough about what to expect before you go to boot camp. Okay? I am just sorry if I'm killing you with the length of detail and depth. Alright? So, you've gone through all of your water training. You've gone through your water survival training. You've gone through your Marlin Spike. You've gone through your SAM-T. You've gone through your live fire. At this point, you should have this little chit, this little card, basically. It's really large. And, yeah, it's really large. And basically this chit is going to get a lot of stamps on it, and stuff like that. It's going to get a lot of stamps on it. And it's going to say, you survived your water trials, you survived your SAM-T, you survived this, you survived that. And it's going to put a stamp. It's going to put a literal stamp on it to say that you passed. Alright, then around that time, they're actually going to come back around to your dental. Dental just came back around, ladies and gentlemen. And now you're going to spend a couple days in the chair. Or the division's going to do weird, odd things while some people kind of... oh god, I forget what they used to call it. When you kind of go out and you straggle on your own and you go do your own thing. You have to go back and forth to dental and medical. You'll go as an element with other people and you'll walk in formation, and QA will try and swoop down and kill you. And then you'll go get a lot of dental work done. And me personally, I thought I had 2 bad cavities. In reality, I had 5 or 7 cavities that I had no idea about. And I spent 3.5 days in that dentist chair. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people, they get holes drilled in their mouth and things done you just couldn't believe. And it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. People get doped up on a lot of stuff, and we'll talk about those final little things towards the end of boot camp. Okay, now here's the firefighting training confidence chamber and stuff like that. like I said, it's going to be like a week's worth of evolution. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to learn how to use SCBAs, self-contained breathing apparatuses, and apparati. Alright? And look at you. Look at you. You're going to be a sea warrior. Look at you. That's right. Alright. And it's going to be a big evolution. You're going to be learning how to put out all of your Charlie class fires and all of your Alpha and Bravo class fires. Alright, you know, and all that stuff. Again, guys, I hope you're enjoying this. I haven't seen any other kind of content like this on YouTube whatsoever. And you are just going to learn crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. And as you can see right here, they kind of do a little bit of hand holding. Show you how to go in there and put out the blaze. And yes, that is an actual blaze in there. That's not CGI. And then right here, they're going to show you how basically, you know, you should be fighting the fires on aboard ship and in what method you should be doing it. Notice how the face visors fogging up without the rebreathers in place. It's so that they can fog up, so that way you kind of know what it's like to not be able to see. Alright, and as you're doing what you're doing right here, people rotate from the back of the line of people holding the hose to the front. And you have all kinds of battle cries of how to do what and when, and methods of who's supposed to do what and how. And one of the most innuendoed things from that training is called Relieve the Nozzleman. Relieve the Nozzleman I couldn't even say that if I didn't want to like that. So anyways, and then after that, it's getting towards to be the end of boot camp. Christmas time is coming, kiddies. You're gonna be graduating soon. You're gonna be passing in review. And towards the end of boot camp, what's finally going to happen is you are going to go to the gas chamber. Okay, don't be scared. As far as I know, all the things that are wrong with me aren't related to anything I was exposed to when it comes to the gas chamber, at least. But you're going to go to the gas chamber, and it's going to suck. You know, don't think you're going to be able to hold your nose closed and your eyes closed and all this other stuff. You're going to be just fine. It's not going to happen. Okay. One, you have to recite your service number and your rank and who you are, and your division number and all this stuff once they come to you, and it's just going to be bad. Okay. So this is what it looks like, and you're all stacked up in there about half the division at a time. And whoa, okay. All right, this is what you look like. Everyone's going to be shaking in their boots right there, doing their thing. You can see you kind of got like a window to the outside window. They're going to look in on you. Alright. Everyone's got their sleeves rolled real nicely. It's summertime, as you can tell. And then the discomfort that's going to come from taking that mask off when you can't don the mask anymore. Alright, and it's called masks up, cups up. Masks up, cups up. Alright, and what you do basically is you rip the mask off once they fill the room with the gas, and you recite what you're supposed to. And if you're the first person who has to take that off, you have to wait all the way to the end. That's just too bad. That's how it's going to work. And you're going to deal with it. And usually, the person who's been the biggest disruptor of boot camp, the person who's got the division beat the most, that person is going to take off their gas mask first. Believe it. Probably going to stand in front of where the gas is coming from too. Anyways. And also I'll mention, ladies, for whatever reason I don't remember biologically, you are very fortunate. Okay. And CS gas affects women less than it does men. It affects women less than it does men. Some women are actually almost completely immune to it. They'll have almost no response. My divisional chief was a yeoman. She was a female. She was like a 6, 7, 8 year chief. She made chief really fast. Chief, she stood in there with us during the gassing, and she didn't even snicker. It was not a problem for her whatsoever. And I'll tell you what, props for me. I couldn't take a lungful of that and not freaking jump up and down about it, but she did. She did really well, and I was surprised and impressed. Okay, so finally, after everything's said and done, after you've been to the gas chamber, after you've been to medical, after you've been to SAMT, you've been to live fire, you've been to all your firefighter training, you've gone through all of your basic sailorization training. What's going to happen next is you're going to go to BST 21, Battle Stations 21, the USS Traer. All right, it is the most unlucky ship in the fleet. It gets hit by 2 missiles every week, once a month at least. It's a simulated ship. It's the equivalent of a frigate in length and dimensions and size and all this BS. And it's probably inside of the world's largest swimming pool, which I would hate to fall in. And it does things and moves about in ways that I cannot talk about, that you sign up page 13 in reference to. You cannot speak about BST 21 at all when it comes to the actual evolutions that take place during it. And you know what? I think I'm going to spare you guys the photos as well, because the entire thing is hush-hush. So we're just not going to talk anymore about BST 21 and what takes place and what happens. But I will say that you're going to get wet. You're going to be in a simulated USS Cole-like situation. And it's going to last a long time. They're going to make it seem like you were underneath a little mini underway kind of deal. And it was a lot of fun. God, it was a lot of fun. God, it was a lot of fun. Every single last little bit about it, and not just the USS Traer, but boot camping period. It was great. I loved it. Even when they tried to beat the division and all that, and tell you did something wrong or whatever, yeah. As a group, you messed up. No, you'll get over that. Really, they're just going to beat you to make you strong. And as they say, if you're going to be stupid in boot camp, you better be strong. If you're going to be stupid, you better be strong. Okay? And as you go through boot camp, you're going to learn, you're going to earn all kinds of flags and pendants. Okay? Flags and pendants. All right? God, forgive me, everyone out there. Whoa. Okay. The competition flags. I'm trying to get you as close as possible to the Hall of Fame flag, but I can't really get you up in there. Okay? That's really the most important. And you got all the battle league, you got the education, you got the marksman, you got the CN, you got them all. You got all your flags that you earn during boot camp for your academic testing, your rifle quals, and then all that stuff. And if you make it through Battle Stations 21, if you actually manage to not fall asleep from if you manage to not fall asleep during Battle Stations 21 because it was so lengthy and so protracted, if you actually manage to stay awake, then you will have graduated, and hurrah, you will have separated yourself from every single other person that you most likely went to high school with or whatever else have you. You will go see the fleet. You will go on to do great things. And this is the Pacific Fleet Marching Hall. All right, this is where you're going to go graduate. Everyone's doing white. This was the summer. I feel bad for them. All right, and you'll go do a lot of practice marching before you actually graduate, for the actual pass and review. And once you do pass, you're going to get a little bit of liberty when they call for Liberty Call. Liberty call, liberty call. They're going to run down out of the bleachers, out of the stands. They're going to come rush down and give you lots of hugs and kisses, and you're going to be a sappy sucker like this guy, getting all sappy. You're going to see your spouse, you're going to see your kids, you're going to do all that good stuff. Don't get freaky and be groping on your spouse after you graduate right there in front of everybody, because your RDCs will rearrange your life and your ass. You're going to get some time to go down to the Recruit Heaven Center, whatever, after you graduate, so that way maybe you can go enjoy a rightfully earned soda or Snickers bar, whatever have you, a Snicker snack. Go make some phone calls. You have an hour to make some phone calls, and that's going to be the biggest deal ever. That's going to be the biggest deal ever. Being able to call everybody saying, hey, that's it, I did it. Unless you were some kind of shit-hot division, in all likelihood, you didn't make any phone calls home but the one that you made when you got there, and you're not going to make another phone call home until you graduate, unless you did really good. If you did really good, then yeah, they will maybe get you one more little 30-minute phone call in there for everybody. If you're a Hall of Fame division or something, or you did something great. But ultimately, you're not going to be able to make any phone calls to the end once you graduate. And once you graduate, once you get to make those phone calls, it's going to be some of the best phone calls you've ever made. Ever made. You will be paid. You will be a made man or a made woman. And hopefully your family came to see you during graduation. Hopefully your loved ones, your spouse, your children, well, maybe you have children. Whoever it is that cares about you, hopefully somebody came to see you graduate. Nobody came to see me graduate. Nobody had the resources, nobody had the money, nobody had the time, nobody had the inclination. So you know what? Oh well. I gave up my spots for people to the religious petty officer in my division, and because nobody came to see me, I stood a watch. As soon as I graduated from boot camp, I stood a watch. EM1 was like, sorry, recruit, someone got to stand and walk in the barracks. Just how it is. And that was that. QA, whatever. I mean, it was over. What did QA care? So anyways, I stood a watch in the barracks as soon as I graduated till everyone got back from Great Lakes. And you will be told, once that you do graduate, hey, listen, it's going to be something like, 2 or 3 days before you actually move out and you get your orders and you go to where you're going, or maybe a week or more. You're going to go to a THU, a temporary holding unit. A temporary holding unit. All right, that's a long subject of itself. But I was a push division. My division was out of boot camp and down the road almost instantly. I only hung around for a couple more days, no THUs. And you'll kind of get the opportunity to talk to your recruit division commanders, your chiefs, your first class petty officers, kind of on a more level, equal, ground. You can just talk to them like people for the first time in forever, if ever. And then that's it. Then you're going to be on your way. And that's it. All right? You're going to get on that bus. You're going to go across the street to your A school, or you're going to go to the West Coast, you're going to go to the East Coast, you're going to go somewhere, and you're going to go to your A school. And then this is when things start getting weird. This is when things start turning into the needs of the Navy. Some people will go to a THU for untold amounts of time. And for what? Sometimes people, they can't tell you. Okay, I've seen people spend a fourth, half of their career, half of their enlistment, being held back for paperwork for some reason or another. And in boot camp, there was some people that I went to DEP with that went through boot camp after me that were slated to do the same job. Some people actually went to boot camp with me from my delayed entry program. And they still got held back in a THU for some reason. The paperwork wasn't right. They weren't ready for them. And they stayed in Great Lakes for a long time. They stayed in Great Lakes as a undesignated deckhand, basically, for a long time. And one of them, which was a female, she'll remain nameless. This young lady went to boot camp, had some kind of blood anemia problem, and medical held her over for 6 or 8 months after boot camp. 6 or 8 months after boot camp, this girl was just withheld. Just withheld. So one day she finally tracked down some lieutenant and was asking, like, what the heck is the deal? And she uncovered her paperwork underneath a layer of dust on this guy's desk. And he was just kind of like, I didn't even know it was even there. If you can believe that. So, a lot of people get held back in boot camp. A lot of needs of the Navy. A lot of weird things kind of happen there. And again, like I said, there was somebody who was going to the aircrew athletic school of athleticism, that I went to, who graduated boot camp at the same time that I did. But for no medical reason, he was just held in a THU. He was just an undesignated deckhand around Great Lakes for months and months and months. And for why, I will never know. I will never know. And he never knew either. He just finally got his orders one day. So that's kind of weird. If you fail your swim qual, they're going to hold you back as well. You're not going to graduate with your division. You're not going to go into your A school. They're going to hold you until you pass that swim call. Whether you can't jump off the tower, whether you can tread water, whatever it is, they're going to hold you back. And let me tell you what, the foot traffic at the end of the day, every day in boot camp, is unbelievable. That goes back to that combat swimming pool. It is unbelievable, all the stragglers that go back. I guess it's hard. I don't know. But I didn't have that problem. So, what else about boot camp? What else can I tell you that's poignant and really, really significant and important? You're going to have a lot of friends. You're going to make a lot of friends. They're going to tell you not to exchange information with anybody. Then towards the end, you're finally going to get the opportunity. They used to, I don't know if they still do, I kind of doubt that they still do, they used to really PT the dog snot out of us. And I was a division of people that was mostly supposed to be aircrew people, etc., etc. And I guess because we were supposed to be a tougher group of people, all being aircrew and construction men or CBs, that they gave us a lot more PT than typical people, typical divisions. Some divisions, their RDCs just beat them non-stop, just from chow time to chow time to chow time. And if you're not a push division, usually they'll do that. And my RDCs bragged. They said, listen, you're lucky that you're a push division because usually you have so much more time to PT you guys and really find out who's who. Well, there's my division right there. Well, that's my division, Division 104. I know some people that actually have their division number tattooed on their body. Like they were manufactured or something. So, moving right along. Things kind of get weird in boot camp at the end. Some people get held back medically, whatever. And again, like I told you on my introductory video, if you guys have or have not seen that, if that did or did not post, this is all very new. If you decide that you're going to get to the back of the bus once it's time to leave to go to your A school and you're going to give your RDC the finger because you just think you're cute, that's not going to fly. Okay, it's not a good idea. I could tell you lots of stories about boot camp. Maybe we'll do that on a live note or something like that eventually. I'll tell you lots of stories about boot camp. Hilarious, absolutely hilarious stuff, But some people really PT the absolute heck fire out of their division and really, really make them hard. Really make them hard. And other divisions, not so much. And nowadays I'm kind of inclined to say that they're probably not beating the people as badly as they used to. Because the recruiters used to brag about how they would send people to the hospital. okay, they'd be like, you're lucky you're a push division, because if we had more time, we would be sending you to the hospital. That's no joke. You'll hear the ambulance show up to your barracks all the time. And it will be for people in other divisions or maybe people in yours. And as much as I'd love to show off the photos of some of the hard asses and cool guys that led my division, I'll just not do that. But Division 104 was a good division. Was a good division. We had a lot of smart, capable people who really did their best, really tried hard. We had a couple of shitbags. Do not get me wrong. We had a couple of shitbags. And there were some weird-looking people. But I'll tell you what. Here's one of the better stories, though, about boot camp, is that when I did wake up sick as a mother lover after the first 48 hours of being awake, after we finally did come to, and I went over to the Great Lakes. I went over to the Red Rover. I was so ridiculously sick. It wasn't even funny. They paid attention to me real fast because I was falling over, literally. Man. What had happened was one of the guys in my division had a hilarious tattoo. He had a hilarious tattoo. Apparently, he was a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, and he wasn't a gym rat or anything, but he decided it'd be cool to get a collage of Arnold up on the arm, up out here, and you could like literally see the cover of every single movie that Arnold had ever been in on this guy's upper arm. I mean, it had like Conan the Barbarian up there with the sword and everything, perfect at the top. And then it had, like the Terminator with him with the pistol being all like this in the first Terminator film. The T2 cover for that film. Predator down towards the bottom, at the very bottom, where he, Arnold has the M16 with the 203 and he's all like, that whole thing. And that was hilarious. That was hilarious. He had a complete collage tattoo of everything Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hilarious. I could not believe that. As sick as I was, I snickered at that. Alright, and if you decide to spend the money in boot camp, you can get a lot of really cool stuff to go home with, which I would totally suggest. Before I'd ever gone to the military, I was so old, I'd been on so many road trips, I'd been around so much, I kind of knew that serving was going to be a lot like just another road trip, basically. You were just going to have a couple year experience that you're going to learn a lot from. Maybe you decide to go career while you were in. Who knows? Okay, so this is what you get. You get a lot of photos, viewing the division, you know what I'm saying? Division 104, your people. And this isn't just generic photos, I'm really in these pictures and stuff like that, etc., etc. And, I don't want to expose any of my other shipmates out there who do not want to be associated with my level of transparency or my framed, biased sounding opinion or observations, okay? And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. There's even kind of a funny moment where Chief will pretend to find a box of Oreos inside of your rack real fast, and towards the end of boot camp, and hold you responsible. Hilarious. And it is just a good time. It is just a good time all the way around. And you have an opportunity to buy a lot of stuff while you're there. I bought the full package. I got the Keel book. It says down here, you can't see because all the reflection and my really poor coordination skills. It says the Keel. One of my recruiters had one inside the recruiting office, and it was hers. I got to check it out. It's changed a lot. It's good stuff. Get yourself a Keel book. I would. All right. This right here, they're just going to hand this to you before you even go in the delayed entry program. When you're actually in boot camp, They're going to give you another book known as the Recruit Training Manual. I don't have it anymore. I sent that to a friend of mine who was going in while I was in Pensacola. So that way he'd have a piece of information ahead of time to kind of work with and know about. And it did him a lot of good. He appreciated it. While you're in the boot camp, you can get the Blue Jackets Manual. Alright, the United States Marine Corps has what's known as the Green Monster. The United States Navy has the Blue Jackets Manual. This is just a public publication. I don't think there's anything special about it, really, that I can or can't show you. It's a great book. Pardon me, excuse me. It's a great book. I've read this thing cover to cover, as you should, being a United States sailor. But even once you get out, don't ever lose it. It says right in the book, listen, if you ever lose this thing, you're going to regret it. It's part of your service. It's part of your experience, and it is. Don't be fooled. And again, to a lot of the people out there who say, listen, going to the military is just a job. It's just whatever, okay? Most jobs don't kill you, okay? Most jobs. And you get cool stuff like this. All right. They're going to send you, or you can buy all kinds of cool stuff like this. All right. I got a graduation photo up across the way. It is really badass. We all graduated in our dress blues because it was winter time, and it was generally good stuff. It was generally good stuff. And some of the other stuff that you get to purchase into, that you get to buy while you're in there during boot camp, is exactly how many and how large of what kind of photos of yourself. Okay, your photos. They're going to sell you either just a couple, or they're going to send you, or they're going to sell you however many you want. And if you don't buy enough while you're in boot camp, when you're graduating, if you don't buy this stuff, okay, chances of you getting any of it later on is extremely difficult. It's most likely not going to happen. Okay, even if you know your division number and all that stuff, the exchange is only going to hold on to this kind of data for so long. Okay, the military isn't really into high def documentation keeping, so get it while you can. And again, another thing about the photography, if you have problems with your skin, if you're still kind of young and you're not completely developed and you have some hormonal issues still going on, maybe BPA's causing a problem for you, estrogen mimickers, I don't know, they go through and they Photoshop your photo and they completely remove all of your blemishes. They make you look perfect. And another thing, this is probably the most important thing about this video, a lot of people think when you go and take that photo of you in your dress blues and you look all dignified and prestigious in boot camp that you've graduated or something. Not even close. Not only have you not graduated, but you're putting on and wearing just a generic dress blue jumper. Not even, no. You are wearing your own dress blue jumper, but you're taking the photo in the back of a trailer that gets pulled around from one barracks division to another. And you just hop in the back of this little photo booth on wheels, and they take a photo of you, and it is totally not the dignified, grandiose experience that they promise you. You're wearing your digital blue pants at the time. So anywho, I mean, lots of that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Western world, former sailors, Marines, Sea Warriors, Devil Dogs, Airmen, Seamen, Airmen of the Air Force, Soldiers of the Army, JT Suits if you're out there listening. I guess that wraps up boot camp. This has been exhaustively long, and we've talked about pretty much everything at nauseum. There's nothing else I can think of. Maybe at some other point, yours truly may go live, and we can talk about the rest of that. So, please subscribe. Please comment. Please tell me that you agree with me. Tell me that I'm a quack. Do whatever you do. But this is all about transparency. This is all about togetherness and sharing a message, and actually starting to unify with each other through this great thing that we call YouTube, the tubes, 21st century communication. And if you are another veteran and you had a mediocre experience, you had a great experience, you had a horrible experience, I encourage all of you to take the time to chronicle your experiences and what you've learned. It is exhausting. It's exhausting. You'll have more to say than you can shake a stick at. But do it while you're young. Do it just after you get out. Do it before you become jaded because something happened to you or God knows what. And that's another episode later. But I encourage every veteran to get out there and talk about their experience. Whether it was the most pro-military, amazing thing that happened, or the most corrupt thing that you could ever read about. Okay, whatever it is, I especially encourage all veterans to get out there and start using this thing that we do here to communicate with one another, because it is the free market of ideas, the free market of thought, that is really what all this is about. Okay, it's this sharing will bring about an evolution of higher consciousness, of higher awareness, and if somebody wrote a book about your life, would anybody want to read it? So, thank you again, everybody out there. Thank you, America. Thank you, Western world. Everybody who has electricity. All right, everybody. Until next time. And again, this was Purely Boot Camp. The next video will be about A schools.